TxStampin Sharon. I was going to make two videos using a birthday stamp set, and I decided they're so similar. Let's just put both cards on one video. If you're new to my channel, I want to welcome you. I invite you to hit the subscribe button below and then hit the notification bell. If you have a crafty friend that might enjoy this birthday card, why don't you share it with them? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I always love those thumbs up. I read every comment and I reply to them. Let's get started, guys. So here's the first card we're gonna make, and it's got this cute little fold. Look how fun, all right? And then I will show the next one after we've made this one together. So I have a piece of melon mambo that measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. This is our base. Then I have a layer of a basic black that measures 3 1/2 by 4 3/4. Then I have a piece of Whisper White. This is just the regular Whisper White. This is not my card base, so it's just the regular Whisper White. And this measures 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and close it. Give it a good crease. I am using the Happy Birthday to You. I know I need lots of birthday cards, y'all. I loved this cake. But you know what I also thought too? A friend of mine said she needed to make a wedding card. And I was like, oh, that would be perfect for a wedding, not just birthdays. So I'm using StazOn ink because I'm using my Stampin' markers. I did not want to use my blends because I didn't want it to bleed through on the back. So that's why I chose my Stampin' markers. And it's an easy card, so I didn't want to add another layer just to hide that. So we're going to go ahead and ink up our stamp. Move this over. And we're going to stamp this up close to the top. We're going to let that dry, set it aside. I have two strips. I have a strip of Whisper White and a strip of basic black. My basic black measures 1 1/4, and then I have cut it kind of long because I want to use my triple banner punch and give me a little banner tail. So I'm going to do that first. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the Whisper White before we stamp. So again with StazOn, since we already have it, it could be Memento, but we've already got the StazOn out, so we're just going to use that. And we're going to stamp, whoops, we want our banner to go that way. We're going to stamp Happy Birthday. Love this font. It's so big and pretty. Okay. And again, we want our banner to go that way. So we're going to place this here. And so I want to make sure, what if you don't use this sentiment? So I'm going to teach you how to measure to get this to line up the way you want, because we're going to be putting a score here. So let's say you used a different stamp set. So you would stamp your image, cut it down to size, and then I want this to come across the bottom right here. And so I know that I want to score about right there. So what is that? That is right at 4 inches, okay? So you wouldn't want your banner to be 4 1/2, 5, because it would go off the side. So I'm going to use the gray blade, and I'm going to score at 4 inches. So I've got my banner tail right at 4 inches. So now let's assemble our card. Oh, now let's do our coloring first. So I'm going to take the Melon Mambo, and I'm going to color the entire flower. So once I'm done with the flower on the first layer, I figured something out. I'm so used to Stampin' Blends, you know, the light and the dark. I figured out that I could come back in and color certain petals, and they would be darker. I just thought that was so cool. So I'm kind of giving it a two-tone look. You see? How fun is that? So now I'm switching to Pear Pizzazz to color the leaves. And then I'm going to color the cake stand the same color as the flowers. I bet my head's in the camera. I'm so sorry. Okay. So now we're going to adhere this to our basic black. Rather than risk smearing anything that might not be dry, I'm going to go ahead and rub it on the back. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to add snail right here. Again, good rubbing on the back. We're going to add snail. And we're going to add that in the center. Since I have added the card, we've got a bit of a closing challenge right here. So we're going to go ahead and do this really good with a bone folder. And it's going to come up a little bit, but it's going to be fine once it goes in that envelope. So now we're going to take this and add our happy birthday. Last thing we're going to do is we're going to add some pearls. This is a special cake. To the centers. And we are done. Are you ready to do the next card with me? So here's our next card. Cute little fold, okay? But again, using the same stamp set. I have my petal pink that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And our basic black is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then I have a piece of Whisper White. This is just the regular Whisper White that is 4 inches by 9 3/4. And I scored it at 3 1/4 and 6 1/2. I'm going to leave it flat to do my stamping. Again, I'm going to use StazOn. Going to use my birthday cake. And I'm going to stamp kind of towards the bottom. Pulling out my Celebrate. We're going to stamp that there. And then we're going to set that aside, let everything dry really good. We're going to take our petal pink and our StazOn. And we're going to stamp Happy Birthday at the bottom before we add anything to the card. So now I'm ready to add my basic black. Again, just giving my cake time to cool, time to dry. We baked cupcakes yesterday, so it was like, oh, we gotta let them cool before we can ask them. Okay, so I set that aside. So again, I am using Stampin' Right markers because I don't want it to bleed. You know, this card does have an open back kind of thing, so it's all one layer. I'm gonna do the same thing with the coloring. I'm gonna start with the cake base and I'm using Smoky Slate. We're gonna use Petal Pink. And I'm only gonna color like the outline of the flowers. I'm not gonna color the whole thing. I'm just following the artist drawing. And then while I have this in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and do the coloring, and I'm going to try to do as long of strokes as I can so that I don't see stroke marks with the Stampin' Right markers. We've gotten very spoiled with the Stampin' Blends, and we tend to realize that we can see stroke marks with the Stampin' Right markers when we're doing large images like this. And now our pear pizzazz again. So now we're going to fan fold this. We know we want this on the front. We're going to do like a little Z fold. Put a good crease. Add it to our card base. And we have one more thing to do. Try to calm that down a little bit. I have the pearls again, and this time I decided to color them with the black Stampin' Blend. And for the sake of not ruining my card, I went ahead and colored these so that they would be good and dry. You really want to make sure that these are good and dry before you go to pick them up, because I have made a mess with one of them one time when it was not dry. Ruined my card, just saying. Whoops. And there you go. So see why I said the cards were very similar? And I was like, neither one of them is going to take me long, so I might as well put them both on one video. Hope you enjoyed these happy birthday cards. Happy stamping, y'all.